Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, are the Utah Jazz final contenders? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also be on the lookout for our premium community, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which is coming pretty soon. So anyway, let me get into the topic here. So let's talk about the Utah Jazz. I know we don't get a chance to talk about them much, but today we're going to be focusing on this team. And a lot has been made of the popular teams, the kind of the usual suspects that we normally hear about: the Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the 76ers, the Celtics, the Warriors. But in all of this, even in some case the Nuggets, but in all of this, we never really mentioned the Utah Jazz. Now, the Utah Jazz so far are playing the best basketball in the entire league. If I look at the NBA standings right now, they have the number one record in the NBA with a 20-5 record. They've won 9 out of their last 10 games, and they've won 5 in a row. They were recently, I think, on an 11-game winning streak that they lost, and then they bounced right back, right? The Utah Jazz have been on a tear this season, and let me just say, when I was mentioning about the All-Star balloting, I said that I thought that Donovan Mitchell should be named the starter over Stephen Curry. Some people want to go with Stephen Curry, but listen, with the type of season that Donovan Mitchell is having, and with the team success that his team is having, currently the Warriors are they have 14-12 records, so they're the number 8th seed in the Western Conference, but the Utah Jazz have the number 1 record in the NBA. So How am I going to put Stephen Curry ahead of Donovan Mitchell? Now, I get it is a popularity contest, and people are going to vote the way they vote. But for me, I think Donovan Mitchell deserves to definitely start. Now, if we look at Donovan Mitchell's stats this season, the guy's averaging 24 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. He's shooting 44% from the field, just under 44% from the field. He's shooting 42% from the three-point line and 84% from the free throw line, just getting you under a shade of one steal per game. So the guy's having some really good numbers. But what's more impressive is the team stats. The team ranks number 3. As far as for the defensive ranking, they rank number 3. They're the number 1 ranked team in the NBA for rebounding. Actually, they're the top team in rebounding. And if you go and look at their differential, as far as how they're beating opponents, they're beating opponents by about 8 to 9 points per game. They're scoring about 114.5 points per game, but they're giving up just about 106 points per game. So they're beating their opponents by a very, very decent margin. So they're beating these teams fairly well. It's not like as if a lot of these games are close. They're winning these games pretty handily so far, because this team plays offense and defense. They're one of the few teams that are out there that are trying to contend that plays offense and defense. Now, some of you guys have heard me get on the Brooklyn Nets. Some people wonder, why do you keep calling them the New Jersey Nets? Because they've been the New Jersey Nets for like the past 20 years. So it's just a habit. But anyway, they're one of the teams that plays offense and defense. If you look at the Brooklyn Nets have the best offense in the NBA. They're scoring the most points in the NBA. No one questioned whether or not they were going to have a good offense. The problem is they're giving up close to 118 points per game. And the thing I said about the Brooklyn Nets is that they can beat anyone because of their offensive capabilities. However, because they're a terrible defensive team, they're ranked number 29 out of 30 teams in the NBA. That means that any team can beat them on any given night because they're not really concerned about playing defense. Just to digress for a second, they asked last night whether or not it's the Nets defense or Kevin Durant that's going to be the solution for this team. Now, Stephen A. Smith was on TV yesterday talking about how he doesn't really think that DeAndre Jordan and whether or not he can continue to play defense at a high level is going to make an impact on their winning. He said it's going to be Kevin Durant, because of how Kevin Durant is going to. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what are these points these guys are making. He's talking about Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni. How is that going to improve the team's defense? What is Steve Nash going to do? Right? These guys need to play their better defense as a whole. What's Kevin Durant is one player. Is he going to guard the opposing team? How? It's on Kevin Durant. It's on Kevin Durant to do what? If you're mentioning his scoring output, that's not no one is questioning their offense. It's not like they're going through some offensive woes. even if they make shots and they set their defense, because maybe you're saying, okay, it's KD on these guys to score, and then when they score, that allows them the teams to take the ball out of bounds, and then they can set their defense. But the problem is they're not. Is that the philosophy? But they're not playing defense. So sometimes I really wonder what a lot of these guys are saying on TV. But anyway, this team plays offense and defense. Now they've beaten some solid teams this season. They beat first of all, they beat the Clippers early in the season. They beat the Celtics. They beat the Warriors. They beat the Bucks. And they beat the Blazers. So the Utah Jazz have gotten some pretty good legitimate wins off of some pretty 500 plus teams, above 500 teams so far. Now, there was a story that was in the media not too long ago, in the news not too long ago, with some comments that Shaquille O'Neal made about Donovan Mitchell, basically telling him flat out to his face that, listen, I don't think you're good enough to get this team over the hump, right? And there were many different things being said. Some people said Shaq is being too hard. Some people said that Shaq is hating. Some people came out and said, why are these old heads getting at these younger heads, and all of these different things, right? And here are my 2 cents on that entire kind of exchange. I think people are too sensitive, especially guys. I'm surprised that so many men are so sensitive to critique or anything. They're so it's almost like a lot of guys behave. I mean, I hate to say it, behave like girls. To be honest with you, these guys are so emotional about everything. They're so sensitive about everything. So wait, Shaq can't have an opinion because what? Shaq is entitled to his opinion. That's his damn opinion. If that's what he feels, that's what he's gonna say. Right? The reason we respect Charles Barkley is because he's a straight shooter. He tells you exactly what he thinks. Now, the guy told you, listen, I don't think this guy's the guy. What's the problem? What's all of this thing of, oh, we need to come and defend it? Why are we babying these guys? These are young men. What are we babying them for? Oh, don't say that. Why would you say that? Oh, you're hating. No, you're soft. You're sensitive. That's what it is, right? So, and then the other thing about, these old heads. So let me ask you, for the younger guys on the channel, we have guys ranging, it's mostly men. Over 90% of the viewers here are men between the ages of 18 and 44. And then we have some a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but it's usually men. Let me ask you guys a question. For the men within that 18 to, let's say 40 range, you telling me that you don't have any men in your life that can get on you? Anybody older than you, your dad, your uncle, a mentor, they can't get on you. And if they get on you, what? They're hating? What kind of craziness is that? That just means you're sensitive. If you can't take any kind of critique or somebody telling you exactly what they think, then you're sensitive. Don't say that about him because you're hurting his fit. Come on, man. I think some guys are they're too sensitive, too soft, and they're so emotional, ready to just. And when people are saying, "Oh, Shaq is hating," Shaq is telling you what he thinks. He's giving you constructive criticism. What is Shaq hating on Donovan Mitchell for? He's richer than him. He's more accomplished than him. He's more famous than him. What is he hating on him for? What is the thing that he's hating on? What is it? What's the thing? So I think that thing was kind of blown a little bit too far. But now I wanted to digress, but I had some thoughts about that earlier. And I just felt, let me just voice it now, because the way some guys act, man, these days it's alarming. Anyway, for me, I think so far they're a legitimate team in the Western Conference. They're legitimate. Now, are they going to make it happen in the playoffs? It remains to see because they haven't done it yet. But that we can say the same thing about so many other teams. You can say the same thing about the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics. The only team that you can really give the benefit of the doubt to are the Lakers, because they're the ones that have won the title most recently. So for me, I think they're pretty serious so far. So my thoughts to you guys is, do you think that so far the Utah Jazz should be considered finals contenders? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.